This is where they say the ark rested for 800 years.
They claim the ark is not far from here.
This is a literal hole in the ground?
That's right. It's not documented. It's never been filmed.
There's a passage!
Hard to breathe.
Finding the ark is very dangerous.
Incredible.
You're not going to believe what we've got here.
This is awesome! The Ark of the Covenant. It is the single most iconic archaeological relic in history, an object of astounding religious significance and, according to legend, unimaginable power. In the Old Testament, Moses returns from the top of Mount Sinai with stone tablets delivered from God himself. On them are inscribed 10 commandments, an eternal covenant between man and the Almighty. These are kept in a sacred gold-covered chest known as the Ark. It is said to wield the terrifying power to consume its enemies with a wall of fire and reduce mountains to dust. The Israelites carry the Ark to Jerusalem, where it vanishes from history. And mankind has been looking for it ever since. Thanks to everyone's favorite whip-cracking archaeologist and my cinematic hero, the Ark is synonymous with adventure. But I won't be fighting Nazis to find it. New excavations beneath the holy city of Jerusalem are revealing secret passages which may lead to the Ark's last location. And there are those that swear that the Ark left the Middle East entirely, and shocking new evidence that may rewrite biblical history. It's my turn to take on Indy's quest as I join a new generation of raiders going after the Lost Ark. My name is Josh Gates. Look at that! With a degree in archaeology and a passion for exploration, I have a tendency to end up in some very strange situations. This is horrible. This is officially horrible. My travels have taken me to the ends of the earth as I investigate the greatest legends in history.
We're good to fly. Let's go.
This is Expedition Unknown. Like most biblical mysteries, this one starts in Israel. Welcome to the old city of Jerusalem. This is one of the most extraordinary places in the world. It is also one of the most confusing, and that's because it's splintered into 4 pieces: the Jewish quarter, the Muslim quarter, the Christian quarter, and the Armenian quarter. Within these walls, the world's great religions rub shoulders, sometimes uncomfortably, in a city unlike any other. The heart of this holy hodgepodge is the Temple Mount, a massive platform that has dominated the old city for millennia. To really understand how important this place is, all you have to do is look around. The Dome of the Rock here behind me is where Abraham attempted to sacrifice his son and where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. And this is the last known location of the Ark of the Covenant, which was housed in the great Temple of Solomon. Where it went from there is where our mystery begins. Almost 3,000 years ago, the platform was home to the immense Temple of Solomon, dedicated to the God of the Israelites. Inside the complex was a raised inner sanctum known as the Holy of Holies, where the Ark of the Covenant was kept, seen only by the highest of the high priests. For hundreds of years, the Ark is a living, present part of the Jewish faith, the center of the temple and the people of Israel. But in 589 BCE, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar lays siege to the city of Jerusalem. It lasts 2 years, and when it ends, Solomon's temple is destroyed by the Babylonians. After that, the Ark simply vanishes from history. One of the theories explaining its disappearance is that the prophet Jeremiah foresaw the impending Babylonian invasion and secreted the Ark into a dark corner beneath the Temple Mount. But looking for it here is complicated, to say the least. And that's because this place isn't just historic, it's holy. The platform is now under Arab control and is highly restricted. The western, or so-called Wailing Wall, is the lower side of the Temple Mount platform. Jews pray here since it's the closest they can get to where the Ark once rested. The Temple Mount is a political powder keg, and anyone poking around has the potential to cause violent clashes between the factions here. There is one archaeologist, though, who has the rare privilege of working beneath the area of the Temple Mount. And I have exclusive permission to join him at his dig site. On the way, I get a glimpse at the vibrant life of the old city. How have I made it to this age and never played marbles? 1, 2, 3. Though it's been 2,700 years since the Ark's disappearance, you can put this baby on your coffee table at home today.
You know, the last time I saw somebody take the lid off this thing, their face melted. No, I shouldn't look. I shouldn't look. It's not a good idea.
While I learned my lesson from Indy, my crew seems to have let their guard down entirely.
Bad dates. Come on, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Nobody? Good dates.
Wait. I emerge in the Jewish quarter to meet Avi Solomon at the Western Wall. Avi.
Hello, Josh. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. He's the chief archaeologist at an immensely important dig nearby. How long have you been excavating here?
Almost 16 years.
And where are you excavating?
Inside the Western Wall tunnels.
In the tunnels?
In the tunnels.
In respect to the sacred nature of this place, I don a traditional head covering called a yarmulke and walk with Avi beneath the Western Wall to one of the most exclusive locations in Jerusalem, a sealed-off passageway where the last attempt to find the Ark beneath the Great Temple began and ended.
This opening is considered to be Warren Gate.
Warren Gate.
Warren Gate is one of the 4 gates that archaeologists has discovered inside the Western Wall.
And this would have led into the Temple Mount?
Yes.
So it was like a tunnel?
Like a tunnel. In 1981, Rabbi Yehuda Meir Getz tried to enter behind it, because according to his calculations, he might find the Ark of Covenant beside the Temple Mount itself.
How far in did he get?
30 meters.
He went almost 100 feet, but he did not find the Ark.
He did not find the Ark.
The rabbi's tunneling was so controversial that it sparked a riot. 15 years later, when a small section of the Western Wall tunnels were open to the public, violence erupted that resulted in the deaths of 75 people. No one has attempted to search for the Ark here since. But riots aren't the only risks for those who seek the Ark. Avi offers an example from the Mishnah, a book of Jewish wisdom dating back to the 2nd century. It once happened that a priest surmised that this was the entrance to the hidden chambers. He came to tell his friend, but before he had time to finish his words, his soul departed. They then knew for certain that the Ark was hidden there. So he was just going to mention it, and he died.
Yes. Finding the Ark is very dangerous.
Avi is not in search of the Ark, but his work puts him in close proximity to the Temple Mount, so anything his team finds has profound historic and religious ramifications. He leads me beneath the streets, and as we descend, we begin to travel back in time. This is the true Old Jerusalem, frozen in time beneath the hustle and bustle above. Wow, look at this. You excavated all of this?
Yes.
And what's above us here?
A Muslim quarter of Jerusalem.
He brings me into one of the pits to see how fruitful digging under the city can be.
Take the hammer. This is a shed of pottery. Here another one.
And how old do you figure this is?
1,600 years.
Wow, incredible. We are here really at the edge of the Temple Mount.
Yes.
Underneath the Temple Mount proper, how much of that has been excavated?
None.
And do you think it will ever be excavated?
No. Nobody's working over there. Nobody's allowed to work over there. It's like a black hole in the archaeology of the land of Israel, unfortunately.
But this is still giving you a lot of incredibly valuable information about the history of the city.
Yes, yes.
All right. Hey, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it, Avi. I leave Avi to keep working on one of the most important archaeological sites in the world, with a new appreciation for just how much of Jerusalem has never been explored. Okay, so digging down into the rest of the Temple Mount isn't going to happen anytime soon. But there is an archaeologist in town named Scott Stripling who may have a lead on another way to explore the underside of this city. I meet Scott at the Tower of David, amidst the ruins of a massive citadel that once guarded the old city. Scott.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm good, man. Nice to meet you. So, I know there's a lot of people who believe that the Ark was hidden under the Temple Mount. Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, I think it is, because the last place we know that it was here in Jerusalem, so it's a legitimate thing to explore. But since the 19th century, because of the political tensions and the religious tensions, there's been such little exploration that's been done.
In the 19th and 20th centuries, archaeologists such as R.W. Hamilton, Charles Warren, and German explorer Conrad Schick were able to explore beneath the Temple Mount with impunity, something that's become unthinkable in this day and age. So what brings you to the old city today, then?
Well, I've been invited by some colleagues to check out an opening into the ground, and it seems like there's a passage that is connecting to the Temple Mount area.
Wow, this is a literal hole in the ground?
Right.
Has anyone gone down and surveyed this?
Not in modern times. It's not documented, it's not published, it's never been filmed, and that's what we're hoping to do today.
Scott invites me to join him as he prepares to explore this mysterious hole in the ground. We walk down ancient alleys and narrow passages to the site, where Scott introduces me to his team member, Alon, who's prepping to head down into the newly discovered opening. Hey, I'm Josh. Nice to meet you. You look like a guy who's ready to explore something. Where is this open? I'm sorry, that's the opening?
Yeah, that's the opening.
Oh man, I should have skipped breakfast. I mean, I'm barely gonna get in that.
You see the bottom?
Oh my God.
It's like 40 feet, more or less. I will load you down in the beginning with this rope.
Just so I understand this, you're gonna pull me out of this hole using that consumer power drill?
Yeah. It's working. You'll be surprised.
Yes, I will be surprised. Okay, let's see what happens. The shaft was concealed beneath ancient stonework, and because no one has been down there for hundreds of years or more, we can't be sure the air is safe, or that there is any air for that matter. We send down a meter to test how much oxygen there is for us to breathe.
We don't have any poison gas. Just the hair, it's a bit thin.
A bit thin?
It's right on the line.
It will be more thinner because we are more people down.
Okay. Once we get the green light to proceed, we tape our cuffs at the wrists and ankles to keep spiders and scorpions from doing their own excavations. Finally, it's time to go. Holy moly. I begin my descent through 3,000 years of history. Here we go. Hoping that at the bottom lies a pathway that leads directly to the Ark of the Covenant. Biblical archaeologist Scott Stripling and I are descending into a tunnel beneath one of the most ancient and sacred places in the world, the old city of Jerusalem.
See you on the other side.
See you down there. He's hoping this trip could lead to the impossible to access area beneath the Holy Temple Mount, where some believe the Ark of the Covenant has been hidden for millennia. Okay.
How's it going down there?
Oh, it's going great. Very old blocks all the way down.
Does the stone change from the top to the bottom?
It looks pretty consistent.
The stone on the top is definitely 1st century, so if it's consistent all the way down, then we know that this is a 1st century shaft.
Copy that. Looks like it's opening up a little bit down here. All good? Okay, I'm definitely at the bottom. Lowering. There's a passage.
You're kidding me. How wide is it?
It's very narrow, Scott. It's only about 2 feet across.
Coming down.
An extremely cramped passageway leads into the darkness, unexplored for centuries. It means Scott may be right, and this could connect to a larger tunnel network leading under the Temple Mount. Pick it up, Scott. I'm in a coffin down here.
Okay, I'm on the ground.
I wedge into a small opening so he can lead the way. Right behind you, Scott.
All right, here we go.
We start to push forward into the tunnel. It's pitch black down here, and the air feels thin. We're joined by one of Scott's team members who's equipped with supplemental oxygen.
Notice how the roof is changing. These pavers that have been laid in here 2,000 years ago, I'm positive now that this is a drainage system from the 1st century.
Any idea how far back it goes?
Well, further than I can see, we're going in the direction of the Temple Mount.
Okay, let's see where this thing goes. The size of these stones above us is incredible now.
Oh, they're massive. Remember, we're about 40 feet under the modern city of Jerusalem right now.
Some of the stones are holding up better than others.
Looks like the lintel stone actually cracked.
Yeah, it is
It
broken.
looks unstable, so don't touch it.
Copy that.
As you're coming in, stay low. Little, stay down. There you go. All right, you made it.
Things don't get any more comfortable as we move in the direction of the Temple Mount. The further we go, the tighter the tunnels seem to narrow. Yeah, I'm pretty much hands and knees at this point. This is incredible, but also incredibly claustrophobic. This is as dangerous a place as I've been in a long time. The ancient tunnel is unstable, the air is barely breathable, and we're down here with Jehovah knows what. Oh, spiders. Why did it have to be spiders? But at the end of it could be the Ark of the Covenant. So there's no thought of turning back.
Oh my goodness.
What'd you find?
You're not gonna believe what we've got here.
What do you got?
I can't believe what I'm looking at. The signature of Conrad Schick, dated 1863.
Look at that! Conrad Schick was a famous 19th century archaeologist, one of the few to explore under the Temple Mount before it became too volatile to dig.
You can see clearly here, C. Schick. Now the date's a little rubbed out, but if we look back here, his companion has dated it 1863.
That is outrageous.
Can you believe that this man had the presence of mind 150 years ago
To graffiti the wall.
to actually tag the wall so that we could find it and show it to the world?
Oh man, I knew I should have brought my can of spray paint.
You're looking at history right now.
This is a real confirmation that this is one of the tunnels that he discovered and surveyed.
Well, it's positive proof. I mean, as an archaeologist, we dream about having inscriptions for evidence. So
Yeah.
you couldn't get any more clear than this.
This is awesome. This is so awesome.
All right, man.
Nice work,
All right.
buddy.
Excellent.
Okay, let's see where this tunnel goes.
All right.
Could his signature mean that these tunnels connect to those in the temple? We have to push on even as the walls close in on us, until there's no further for us to go.
Josh, we've come to collapse.
Blocked off?
It's blocked off. Looks like the tunnel actually does keep going, but another shaft has collapsed in.
Any way to snake a camera through there?
I don't see any way to get a camera through. Looks unstable. In the future, maybe we'll be able to raise the money and come back and actually excavate this tunnel and see if it goes the rest of the way toward the Temple Mount.
But for today, no ark.
Not today, my friend. We're gonna have to bring a team and come back and dig it right.
We turn around for the long walk back. But getting home may be even more dangerous than we imagined.
Hey guys, the air starts to be very thin right now.
Okay.
We need to go outside.
You okay, Scott?
Yeah, I'm laboring to breathe.
Yeah, me too. Okay, let's see if we can get a place where it gets a little wider here. I'm in a claustrophobic's worst nightmare. Nearly 50 feet beneath the old city of Jerusalem, on the hunt for the Ark of the Covenant. And suddenly, our oxygen meters tell us that we're running out of air to breathe. On the long journey through this tunnel, we've been using oxygen far faster than it's being replaced. The air, which was thin to begin with, has now turned downright dangerous.
Hard to breathe.
We find a small open space for Scott's team member to administer oxygen. I'm feeling a little lightheaded, man.
All right, Josh.
Yeah. Whew. Oh my God, I feel like a new man.
That's awesome.
I gotta carry one of these things around all the time. Like blue velvet in here.
Right.
Let's keep moving and keep this thing on standby in case we need it. With fresh lungs, we make our final push to the exit.
Attention! Please, we pull you.
Was that the power drill?
Yeah?
Come on!
Hey, you laughed at my drill, eh?
Am I hallucinating or do I hear singing?
It's all for you.
Jerusalem. Gotta love this town. Scott will hopefully be back with an excavation team to push even further down the tunnels to see how far they extend. But for now, if the Ark is beneath the Temple Mount, it seems to be entombed, both physically and politically. As for my search, I'm not giving up yet. I'm off to meet with a new researcher with another compelling theory, that the Ark made its way out of the city before the Babylonian invasion. Not only out of the city, but to another continent, Africa. Welcome to Ethiopia, a country still marred by memories of famine, but in reality, a place of bounty and historical riches beyond compare. A true melting pot of cultures and religion. Ethiopia has been the stage for some of the most mysterious kingdoms in history. One of them had its capital in the northern city of Axum. I'm here to ask local historian Sisay Sagai why this dusty city is ground zero for modern seekers of the lost Ark. He says he wants to meet at a local coffee shop. And this is it. This is not like any coffee shop I have ever seen.
Yes, this is Ethiopian coffee ceremony.
Drinking coffee in Ethiopia isn't just a morning habit, it's a spectator sport. I've heard of a hand coffee grinder before, but this is like next level.
Yes, very ancient tradition.
The locally grown beans are roasted and ground, in this case with a piece of rebar, in an elaborate process that is a far different sight from our grab-it-and-go society. Oh, my word. Come on. Wow. It's so smooth. Forget Starbucks. Forget that hipster pour-over beaker thing that my cameraman Brian will not stop talking about.
Hey, that thing works.
Our great fathers, when they want to teach history, they make it coffee time.
Well, that's good, because I need some teaching here. I want to understand how the Ark comes from Jerusalem, from the Temple of Solomon. How does it get to Ethiopia?
Queen of Sheba, she's the queen of the Aksumite kingdom. Queen Sheba traveled to Jerusalem to meet King Solomon. During her stay in Jerusalem, they become two lovers. And they have a baby called Menelik. And Menelik grew here in Aksum.
The lore says that when Menelik grew to adulthood, he returned to his father in Jerusalem. There, a high priest had a vision that Menelik should bring the Ark back to Ethiopia. He took the Ark from Solomon's temple and brought it here to the kingdom of Aksum. The Bible is silent on this, right? The Bible doesn't tell this story.
Everything is mentioned in the Ethiopian Kibber-Negest.
Kibber-Negest.
Yes, this is the Ethiopian holy book. It's like a Bible. I can show you the evidence the Ark is here in Aksum.
I would love to see that, yeah. Let's finish this coffee. I'm not going to sleep for a week, by the way.
Okay.
Sisay takes me to just outside of the city to see one of the oldest churches in Africa. We're going up there.
Yes.
The Abba Pantaleon, which reportedly contains ancient manuscripts related to the Ark. As befits a holy place, the church is perched on Aksum's highest point. Sisay, why can't the power of the Ark reveal itself closer to sea level?
The Ark works many mysteries.
Whew, what a view. Worth the walk. The documents we seek are kept in a sacred chamber of the monastery, and the priests are kind enough to bring them into the light.
Wow. So this is one of the old books here in this monastery. It is about 1,600 years old.
Sisay reads me the crucial passage about the Ark.
ምድር ትሰማ ጥበብሁ ለሰሎሞን. This is the part. It says Solomon and Queen Sheba, that they met together.
Does it explicitly say that the Ark came here?
Yes, this is what they explained to us.
It's incredible. Thank you for showing this. To the people of Ethiopia, the scriptures of the Kebra-Negest are taken as gospel. But it isn't only the locals who believe that the Ark is here in Aksum. Sisay and I hike back to town to meet his friend and my next contact, biblical investigator Bob Kornuk. How are you, man? Nice to meet you. Bob has been coming to Ethiopia for nearly 2 decades investigating the Ark, and he's formed tight connections with the community here.
I first came here about 19 years ago to disprove that the Ark was here. But I started talking to the monks, I started looking at evidence, and it all fit. The more I come here, the more confident I get that their story has merit. They claim that the Ark, the actual Ark, and the 10 Commandments are not far from here.
In town?
In town, in St. Mary's of Zion Church.
Now, does anybody get to go in and actually see it?
Only one man gets to go in and see it, the guardian of the ark.
And who is the guardian?
He's appointed by the church. He's considered the only one holy enough to be in front of the Ark of the Covenant. He lives in there, and he'll live in there to the day he dies.
And if I go up to the guardian with a checkbook, I'll give you $1 million. Doesn't do anything.
Not any amount of money will ever gain you access.
I don't have $1 million check to offer. I work in cable. But if they believe the Ark is there, I have to try and see it.
This is St. Mary's of Zion Church. It's the most holy church in all Ethiopia.
We enter the gates of St. Mary's, a tightly knit complex of chapels and churches. And somewhere in the middle of it all is reportedly the Ark of the Covenant. Is it possible to walk to the gate?
We are not allowed to cross the line to go closer to the temple.
I understand, yeah. How often does the guardian come out from that building?
He never leaves that compound in his entire life. There's such a holy terror in their heart that if they violate that, they believe that God will kill them right on the spot.
Is it possible, you think, to see if we might be able to maybe try to get an audience with the guardian?
We can try through the deacon.
Okay, great.
Just a second.
We're making a request to meet one of Ethiopia's most reclusive holy men in one of the world's most restricted places. And it looks like we're about to get an answer. I'm in the ancient city of Axum, once the capital of a mighty Ethiopian kingdom, and now, perhaps, home to the Ark of the Covenant. We've asked to meet with the reclusive priest who reportedly guards the Ark.
The deacon says he's not coming out.
This is it. So no access beyond here.
No access.
Okay. Like so many others before us, we've been turned away. To the faithful, the Ark is sitting about 50 feet away from me. It's maddening. How can we determine if the legend is true without getting a look inside? Well, historian Bob Cornuke believes he can prove the Ark is here. All we need to do is examine ancient clues that are hiding in plain sight. That is unbelievable. This is the Stele Field of Axum, a collection of ancient columns covered in enigmatic inscriptions from nearly 2 millennia ago. This is outrageous to me. Just the design of these things, it almost looks like science fiction.
They believe these huge monoliths were raised by the fiery presence of the Ark.
The mysterious kingdom of Axum was a powerful trade center in the ancient world. Even though Axum thrived hundreds of years after the Ark vanished from Jerusalem, I've already seen Ethiopian texts that claim the sacred chest was brought here. As for the columns, they range from small to the largest one on Earth. But there's one stone monument in particular that Bob wants me to see.
There's a stele that's fallen over. It's not that grand in size or elaborate, but there's something pretty interesting that's underneath it.
Underneath it?
Yeah, right on the other side.
It's carved. It looks like a pedestal with something on top of it.
This is a 2,000-year-old photograph in stone of the container of the Ark of the Covenant.
That's crazy. That is really cool.
I'd be careful if I were you, because the last time a man was underneath that did this, a snake jumped down and bit him. Really, he was in the hospital for 2 days.
Bob, that falls under the category of that you should have told me 2 minutes ago.
Better late than never, man.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. If Bob is correct, this 2nd century design would be one of the oldest depictions of the Ark, and could be proof that it was brought here to Ethiopia. But this field isn't the only place that supports Ethiopia's claim to the Ark. In fact, Bob believes there's testable physical evidence that we can examine. According to one controversial theory, before the Ark reached its home at St. Mary's, it passed through Egypt and then down the Nile to a sacred island monastery in Ethiopia known as Tana-Kirkos. And that's where Bob wants to explore.
Okay, so what's the plan, Bob?
There are ancient artifacts they say came with the Ark of the Covenant that they have in a treasure house.
They've never been tested.
Never been tested.
Wow.
Bob's goal is to test these artifacts. If they line up with the Ark's timeline, they could prove that whatever is hidden inside St. Mary's is in fact the Ark. But first, we have to make it onto the island where the artifacts are housed. We pull over at the shore of Lake Tana, the largest lake in Ethiopia and source of the legendary Blue Nile. Waiting for us is Haifa University professor of archaeology, Sariel Shalev.
So, Sariel, how do you fit into this motley crew?
I'm an archaeometallurgist, analyzing ancient metals, trying to understand how they were made and in what time.
Okay, let's do it.
The ride across Lake Tana seems absolutely idyllic, though I decide to take a pass on an afternoon swim once I spot the local wildlife.
Hippo right there.
Wow. Turns out there are crocodiles here too, and as we get deeper into the lake, things start to feel foreboding, especially when we see the Holy Island looming ahead.
This is the mysterious Tana-Kirkos Island.
Even before you consider that this place might have once housed the Ark of the Covenant, it's intimidating.
It's a wild-looking place. Yeah. It's got a real Skull Island vibe about it.
Ready for even more adventure? Then head over to travelchannel.com and check out behind-the-scenes photos, deleted scenes, and more. Biblical investigator Bob Kornuk and I are on Ethiopia's Lake Tana, heading to an ancient island monastery where legend says the Ark of the Covenant was held for 800 years before being moved to an off-limits church on the mainland.
Did outsiders visit this place or no?
No, this is a holy island.
Bob is hoping to test artifacts still housed on the island, which reportedly came here with the Ark.
This is about as primitive a place as you're ever going to find on planet Earth.
As we slowly approach the cliffs, I'm a little concerned to see that there's no dock. And as for a welcome party, a lone monk emerges silently from the tree line.
We're going to dock right here.
Lucky for us, Bob has met this senior monk in the past, but has never been given permission to examine the artifacts on his island.
Ava Gabriel. Nice to link.
How are you?
Oh. It's good to see you again.
Hello. Hello.
I'm given a blessing, which I hope is a sign of good things to come.
Thank you.
We would like to know if you would grant us permission to come onto the holy island of Tana-Kirkos.
The island is highly restricted, so each step we take requires permission from the priests.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much.
As we push through the dense jungle, we stop at one of the most sacred and secret places in all of Ethiopia.
This is where the tabernacle was, right where we're standing. This is where they say the Ark rested for 800 years. In fact, we even found the holes where the tent poles went here.
Wow.
If he's right, we're in the presence of one of the holiest places on earth. The site is tantalizing, but we're here for hard evidence. The monk leads us to a courtyard where we come face to face with the island's sacred treasury.
Wow, this is amazing.
What you're looking at here, this is like a vault where they keep all the holy objects.
How old is this building?
Oh, this is probably 800-900 years old, maybe 1,000.
And look at this giant snake skin. A little reminder of what lives on the island.
They claim that what is inside there are holy objects that came with the ark to the island. Abba,
Yes.
is it possible to see inside the great treasury room? It's possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm a second.
Thank you.
Access to this building by outsiders is almost unheard of, and I proceed with humble gratitude.
Shoes off.
Shoes off, okay. Wow. Beautiful.
He shows us the Ark's tools one by one.
What is this?
The garment of the high priest, known as the ephod.
So this was worn by the high priest when worshiping over the ark.
Yes.
Incense?
So older incense holder.
Yes.
They would take the blood and the blood would be sprinkled on the tabernacle and the ark.
I see. Thank you very much for showing us this. It means a great deal.
The artifacts are visually compelling. The relics and the texts in this room are clearly extremely old, no question. But do they fit into the timeline of the Ark of the Covenant?
So how does this work? It looks to me like an alien hairdryer.
This alien hairdryer would tell me exactly the relative amount of each element in the surface that I'm measuring.
Okay, so let's give it a whirl.
He tests the implements with the XRF machine, which can tell us what the items are made out of without putting so much as a dent in them.
Okay, we've got all the data, so let's step outside and see what we got.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Okay, so what do we got?
Let's start with the bowl. The bowl is made of copper with 15.3% zinc.
Okay.
It's significant because it cannot be earlier than year zero.
And why is that?
Because before that, nobody knew how to add zinc in such quantities into melted copper.
Okay, I got it. So that object, which they say is very old from the time of the Ark, can't be that old.
For sure.
Let's talk about these incense holders.
The one that they claim is old was made definitely of iron. The problem with using this on iron, this machine doesn't see organic material. Now, we have a system that we could date the carbon. We need to take a real small sample of few milligrams.
And they're never going to allow that.
They will never allow anything to harm those objects.
Even though the dating remains really gray here, these objects are very unique. They're very specific.
They do certainly fit with what the Bible talks about as objects used with the ark.
Right.
We have unique objects that you don't have any parallels. I don't know anything like that.
So it does, in a lot of ways, back up this story of the Ark being here. But in terms of ironclad, no pun intended, evidence, we're still have to go on faith a bit here.
The tests on the tools here are, like so much of the Ark's story, incomplete. We know that one of the objects inside is newer than the Ark, but the iron relics do appear to be the right period.
Do you think that they have that ark in Axum in that church?
Even if it's not the ark, it's something so powerful that it's galvanized an entire nation of people.
Right.
Was the ark once on this lonely island? And is it locked away in a church in Axum today? I'm left with a mountain of circumstantial evidence. But one man may have answers, and I can't leave Ethiopia without making another effort to speak with the guardian of the ark at St. Mary's Church. Bob, Cisse, and I returned to Axum, bypassing the front gate of the church to stake out the rear fence. If the guardian does step outside, we're hoping it'll be here.
This is where he sometimes sits?
This is the only place that he would go. But we could be here for 6 months and he might not come out.
Bob has met the guardian only once, and he's been coming here for decades. But even with the odds against us, I can't walk away yet. We wait for hours as the city of Axum moves all around us.
Hey, Josh, that's him at the corner. Right at the corner. Look to the gate. Yes, he's coming.
In the Ethiopian city of Axum, I'm hoping against hope to meet the guardian of the Ark of the Covenant at St. Mary's Church. The guardian may be the only man alive who has seen the actual Ark. Suddenly, in flowing yellow robes, the guardian appears.
That's him. Look to the gate. Yes, he's coming.
Abba,
The hand
the
young.
naasteling. Abba. Do you remember me? Abba, this is my friend, Josh.
It's a great honor to meet you. I was just going to ask him what it feels like to be in the presence of the Holy of Holies.
He said, this is the home of God, the home of the Lord. The Lord is live every day here. So welcome to the home of God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm a Saganalo. They know who. Josh, you must be special because that's the most he's ever said to anybody. He's never carried on or commented about anything.
I think the two of you may have something to do with that. So thank you for the introduction. That was incredible.
That's awesome.
That was incredible, really. To know that right behind that wall could be the most substantial religious artifact in the history of the world.
I would bet everything I owned that the Ark of the Covenant is right in that building.
Thank you both. I wasn't sure if we were going to even get to see him, let alone have him come up and engage with us. Was incredible.
So with the guardian's blessing, I'm left to wonder, is the Ark of the Covenant here in the dusty capital of a lost empire? Or is it beneath Jerusalem, in the ruins of the grandest temple in history, now hidden behind stone walls and explosive politics? My journey has brought the search to never before explored places and conducted, never performed tests. To be honest, I leave this expedition feeling as though I've actually glimpsed the power of the Ark. Its ability, even in its absence, to start riots and wars, to inspire scripture, and to cement the faith of the Ethiopian people. To crib a line from Raiders, perhaps it's true that the Ark is something that man was not meant to disturb. It is not of this earth. And therefore, it may be safest right where it is.
in the realm of legend.